Hello indie game fans! KFC gets into the main game with I Love You, Colonel Sanders, a visual novel dating sim starring our favourite purveyor of fried chicken. Technically made by an indie developer, but of course backed by a mega corporation. Oliver's adventure in the Fairyland is a mini Metroidvania, which, while small in scope, is a pretty decent experience overall. It's more platforming than combat focused, with abilities like wall jumps to reach new areas. Great price point. Duel is a 2.5D action platformer that looks like a pretty decent time. While not as stylish as the previously covered Minoria, the action and animations do look pretty good, so let's see how this develops in early access. A very stylish RPG, the Executioner mainly uses black, white, and red, with beautiful visuals to tell its story.
I lift my axe over his pale neck. Through the roar of the crowd, I can hear him whispering.
Play as the eponymous Executioner, and decide on whether or not you will become a monster in the course of your job.
The eager screams almost knock me down. The whirlpool of nightmares drags me into the dark.
This seems to take influence from tabletop RPGs with stat sheets and a more text-heavy presentation.
Song without words. Then I hear the voice of my father. You must feed the beast.
Flynguin Station reminds me of Flash game series Learn to Fly and seems to be rather similar, but in 3D instead. Save the penguins by rediscovering the secrets of flight. The upgrades that will enable the penguins to fly further all look quite fun, and as with the classic Flash game series, the gameplay loop can be quite compelling. Spellcaster University seems to be Harry Potter simulation, where you run your own magical university from building the grounds themselves to deciding the curriculum. There are random events ranging from invading orcs to the parents of the students lodging a complaint, magical creatures, and even a Dark Lord equivalent threatening the peace, so it does seem rather ambitious. Taste of Power hits 1.0 and is a medieval-era real-time strategy game that will of course draw comparisons to Age of Empires. The battle simulation seems to be a little more in-depth, with things like formations playing a role, so quite an interesting alternative in the genre. Timothy and the Mysterious Forest is quite an obvious tribute to the Game Boy era of games due to the visuals, and looks like an action-adventure game in the vein of The Legend of Zelda. Always interested in these, and I think that the art style is pretty sweet as well.
Tiny twinkling pyre lights. We were meant to see them that night. Thousands upon thousands of them rushing into the sky like a great shining mist. A spectacle we were to witness. painted across the sky in splendor.
A Story Beside is another entry in the narrative RPG genre that includes games like To the Moon. Here, you play as an innkeeper in a quiet mountain village. While the world is filled with magic and adventure, our heroine simply has to run the inn, and the story appears to cover the entire life of this character, which could be interesting.
Welcome! We are Cronus, your reliable guide to the world of the future. When the dome was found, a small research camp was built nearby. Thanks to the efforts of our brave men, it had soon become a city. But that was only the beginning. Around the aperture at the top of the dome, a transition station was erected, which was called the Spire. It's a pure engineering miracle. People inside the dome are working tirelessly, extracting forefathers' technology.
Everything you have heard is a lie.
Encased, a sci-fi post-apocalyptic RPG, follows in the steps of Wasteland, Underrail, and Atom RPG, in that this is an old-school inspired isometric role-playing game that is most obviously inspired by Fallout 1 and 2, but also cites Baldur's Gate and Divinity Original Sin. There are no character classes, but instead uses attributes and skills to influence each situation that you are in, and this even has tactical, turn-based combat with the use of cover, XCOM style. Super promising, so keep an eye on this.
Life in here is like being in a concentration camp. People die like flies. We should not be here. They don't want us here. We robbed them. And what could happen if those who are deprived of the dome's wealth dare to take desperate measures?
And that's all. Thanks for being with us.
Until next time.
For more upcoming indie game new releases, check out the previous video or click on the recommended playlist, and I will see you after the jump.